Alright, let's set the stage for Fahrenheit 451. The vibe is dark, smoky, and all around dystopian, like you're stuck in a grim version of Cyberpunk 2077, but instead of chasing neon lights, you're chasing fires, and not to stop them, but to start them. Enter our boy guy Montag, a firefighter. Except, plot twist, in this messed up society, firefighters aren't heroes saving the day. Nope. They're more like book-busting pyromaniacs who show up to torch any stash of literature they can find. Seriously, they're out here playing real-life Burn the Witch, but with books. Montag? He's loving it. At least, that's what he tells himself. Picture Montag, he's your typical brainwashed cog in the machine, strutting around in his fireman uniform like it's his power armor. He's the guy you'd main in a dystopian RPG before you realize he's working for the bad guys. Dude is all about the flames, he even says kerosene smells like cologne to him. Yeah, that's the level of brainwashing we're working with here. Montag's out here thinking life is simple, predictable, and, most importantly, lit. But, as all great protagonists must, Montag's world gets a massive glitch in the system one random night. Enter Clarice McClellan, the walking, talking plot device that smashes Montag's comfort zone into a million tiny pieces. She's like a mix of your favorite anime protagonist and that quirky indie film character who asks deep questions while staring at the stars. Montag meets her on the way home from work, and immediately you know she's not like anyone else in this world. For starters, she actually talks to people. Shocking, right? Everyone else is glued to their screens or zonked out on pills, but Clarice is out here vibing with nature, noticing the small things, and thinking. Like, really thinking. Big yikes for a society that wants everyone to stay numb and quiet. Clarice starts asking Montag all these questions that hit harder than a boss battle. Are you happy? She asks, straight up. Montag doesn't even know how to answer because, spoiler alert, the dude's never stopped to think about it before. She goes on about how firemen used to stop fires, not start them, which, let's be real, sounds like blasphemy to Montag's kerosene-soaked brain. But something about her sticks with him. It's like she's unlocked a new dialogue tree in his brain, and now he can't stop replaying their conversations in his head. Clarice is also the definition of chaotic good energy. She's the kind of person who catches raindrops on her tongue just because, and she thinks dandelions can tell if you're in love. Montag fails her dandelion test, by the way, which is probably the first red flag for him that maybe his life isn't as perfect as he thought. Her family is just as quirky as she is. They sit around talking to each other, like actual face-to-face conversations, which is unheard of in this society. Montag is intrigued but also low-key terrified because everything about Clarice screams dangerous ideas. While Montag's brain is doing cartwheels over this weird yet fascinating girl, he's still showing up to work like the loyal fireman he's supposed to be. And let's talk about that job for a second because it's straight-up dystopian madness. The firehouse is like a hive of toxic masculinity and dark humor where the guys sit around playing cards and waiting for the next call to action. They roll out in their fire truck like it's a battle chariot, ready to rain fiery destruction on some poor book lover's secret stash. Montag's boss, Captain Beatty, is the ultimate enabler. This guy talks like he's memorized every propaganda speech ever written, spitting out lines about how books are dangerous because they make people think too much, feel too much, and worst of all, question authority. At first, Montag is all in. He's lighting books on fire like it's his life's mission, reveling in the flames and the chaos. But something's starting to shift, even if Montag doesn't fully realize it yet. Clarice has planted a little seed of doubt in his mind, and it's starting to grow. Slowly, Montag is noticing the cracks in the shiny, fire-fueled facade of his life. He watches the way his co-workers act, mindlessly, like they're just following the script society gave them, and he starts to wonder if maybe there's more to life than this. Montag's firefighter duties are supposed to bring him satisfaction, but now they're just leaving him with questions he doesn't know how to answer. Why do people risk everything to keep books? Why do these dangerous ideas scare the government so much? And why does burning them suddenly feel less like justice and more like erasing something precious? By the end of this half, Montag's not fully woke yet, but he's definitely glitching. He's still going through the motions, showing up to work, burning books, playing the role of obedient fireman, but you can tell his heart's not in it anymore. Clarice has opened a door in his mind that he can't close, and whether he's ready or not, things are about to get real. So there you have it, Montag's comfy, kerosene-drenched bubble is officially starting to pop. He's still playing by the rules for now, but you can feel the rebellion brewing under the surface. And trust me, once Montag starts questioning the system, there's no turning back. Stay tuned, because this dystopian dumpster fire is only getting hotter. Alright, buckle up, because the second half of part 1 in Fahrenheit 451 is where Montag's seemingly fireproof life starts to melt faster than ice cream in a heatwave. What started as just another day of book burning for our guy turns into a total existential meltdown, complete with creepy pill-popping, mindless TV zombies, and the kind of self-doubt that hits harder than a surprise plot twist in your favorite anime. First off, let's talk about the woman who burned with her books, because this is the moment Montag's smooth-brain firefighter routine takes a permanent L. Here's the deal, Montag and his fire squad get called out to roast some illegal books at this old lady's house. Nothing new, right? Except this time, there's a twist. When they roll up with their flamethrowers and bad attitudes, the woman doesn't freak out, cry, or even beg them to spare her precious library. Nope, she flips the script entirely. Instead of running, she decides to stay with her books. As in, she's literally willing to burn alive with them. She even pulls out a match like she's about to perform the ultimate mic drop and lights herself and her stash on fire. Cue Montag standing there, jaw on the floor, kerosene hose dangling like he just lost connection mid-boss fight. This woman's defiant blaze sends shockwaves through his brain. Up until now, he's been all books bad, fire good, but now he's thinking, hold up, why would someone do that? What could possibly be in these books that's worth dying for? Montag's world goes from stable to glitchy in 2 seconds flat. Oh, and let's not forget that Montag, low-key rogue agent that he is, pockets one of the forbidden books during the chaos. He doesn't even know why I call it curiosity, rebellion, or just a brain fart, but suddenly he's got a contraband book hidden under his coat. The irony? Chef's kiss. The fireman who burns books is now hoarding one like it's a rare drop in a game. From here, things spiral. Fast. Montag starts experiencing growing doubts, which is just fancy talk for his brain deciding to go full-on conspiracy theorist. Suddenly, everything feels off. The flames he used to love so much? Now they just seem destructive. The fire station, once his home base, now feels like a toxic den of ignorance. And don't even get him started on his boss, Captain Beatty, who's got more red flags than a villain in a JRPG. Beatty keeps giving these weird speeches about why books are bad, how they make people unhappy and confused, and how society's better off without them. Sure, it sounds convincing on the surface, but Montag can't stop hearing that woman's voice or seeing her fiery end replaying in his head like a cursed cutscene. To make matters worse, Montag's home life is a total dumpster fire. Enter Mildred's addiction to television and pills. Mildred, Montag's wife, is the epitome of someone whose brain has been deep-fried by technology. She spends all day, every day, glued to these ginormous wall-sized TV screens, watching mindless family dramas that are so bland they make NPC dialogue seem deep. She's even got these seashell-like earbuds that blast non-stop noise into her ears, so she's never present. Basically, she's living in her own private metaverse, and Montag's just an afterthought. But wait, it gets darker. One night, Montag comes home to find Mildred passed out cold because she's overdosed on sleeping pills. Like, a lot of sleeping pills. No one even knows if it was an accident or some subconscious cry for help, but it's freaky either way. Montag has to call these super creepy medics who roll in with their snake-like machine and pump Mildred's stomach like it's just another Tuesday. The medics don't even blink, they act like they're fixing a broken vacuum cleaner instead of saving a human life. Mildred, of course, wakes up the next day with zero memory of what happened. Instead of reflecting on her brush with death, she's back to her TV obsession, more concerned about her family on screen than the guy she's actually married to. Priorities, right? Montag, on the other hand, is losing it. He's lying in bed next to Mildred, staring at the ceiling and wondering, is this it? Is this what life is supposed to be? His wife doesn't love him, his job feels like a scam, and the whole world seems designed to keep people numb and brain dead. He starts thinking about Clarice, the one person who made him feel like there might be something more to life. Clarice, with her weird questions and free-spirited vibes, who's now disappeared without a trace. Spoiler, it doesn't look good for her. By now, Montag is straight up malfunctioning. The cracks in his worldview are turning into full-on fault lines, and it's clear he can't keep pretending everything's fine. He's haunted by the woman who burnt herself alive, by the book hidden under his pillow, and by the nagging feeling that Captain Beatty and society as a whole might be lying to him. He's starting to realize that the world he thought was perfect and orderly is actually a hot mess. And Montag? He's standing at the edge, ready to jump headfirst into the unknown. So, to sum it up, Montag's life is a flaming train wreck, and he's starting to notice. He's questioning everything, his job, his marriage, and the very fabric of the society he's been serving. And while he doesn't have all the answers yet, one thing's for sure, this fireman's about to spark a rebellion, whether he's ready for it or not. Stay tuned, because things are about to get wild. Alright, let's dive into Fahrenheit 451, but I'm putting it in the kind of vibe you'd get if your chillest friend explained it while waiting in line at Comic-Con. Imagine if Ray Bradbury had a Netflix deal and a TikTok account, this is what we're going for. So, buckle up, we're about to roast some dystopian madness. Picture this, Montag, our fireman turned rebel, is sitting at home, looking like he just rage quit a match in Call of Duty. Dude's spiraling hard. His brain is basically a dumpster fire of guilt, confusion, and low-key existential dread. He's been vibing with these books he stole. Yeah, stole, ironic, considering he used to torch the things for a living. But now he's like, wait, am I the villain? Because these books are dropping knowledge bombs that are hitting him right in the soul. Meanwhile, Mildred, his wife, is on the couch, completely zonked out on her virtual parlor family, which is like the 1950s version of being addicted to Twitch streams or binge-watching The Bachelor. She's got zero patience for Montag's newfound curiosity. Anytime he tries to get deep, she's like, can you not? This episode is fire, and you're ruining the vibe. She's not exactly ride or die material. So, Montag decides he needs backup, someone who gets it. Enter Faber, this retired English professor who's basically the Yoda of book nerds. Montag tracks him down, but Faber's not exactly hyped to see him. At first, he's all, nah, bro, I'm not trying to get dragged into your mess. The government would flame me faster than you can say Fahrenheit 451. But Montag, being the determined little shonen protagonist he is, convinces Faber they have to do something. He's like, come on, man, don't be an NPC. Let's actually make a difference. Faber finally cracks and starts laying out this wild plan. It's got chaotic good energy written all over it. Here's the gist, they're gonna take down the system by planting books in firemen's houses and framing them. Basically, they're going full-on Death Note but with paperback novels instead of a notebook of doom. Faber's all, will cause chaos from the inside. Montag's like, bet. And just to make things extra spicy, Faber gives Montag the secret earpiece so they can stay connected, like some dystopian version of a Bluetooth headset. Think Naruto with his ninja comms, only less believe it, and more don't die, bro. But Montag's got bigger problems than just pulling off this harebrained scheme. The mechanical hound is back, and it's basically Skynet's evil robodog. This thing is a walking nightmare, imagine a cross between a Boston Dynamics robot and one of those monster dogs from Resident Evil. It's been sniffing around, and Montag's convinced it's onto him. Whenever it shows up, it's like a mini jump scare in his life. He's sweating bullets, thinking, one wrong move, and this thing's gonna inject me with whatever nightmare juice it's packing. Even when it's not there, he can't shake the feeling that it's watching, waiting for him to slip up. Back at home, Montag's trying to keep it cool, but Mildred is doing everything in her power to make that impossible. She invites her friends over, and it's like a cringe compilation in real life. These women are so brainwashed by the system they make NPCs look woke. Montag loses it and starts reading them poetry. And not the chill kind either, he's busting out the heavy, emotional stuff, trying to shake them awake. Of course, they freak out like he just spoiled the ending to their favorite drama. Mildred's desperately trying to cover for him, but you can tell she's one call away from snitching. The vibe in Montag's house is getting way too toxic, so he bounces, ready to get this revolution rolling. Faber's in his ear like the world's most paranoid gaming coach, whispering strategies and telling him to keep his head down. Montag's walking a tightrope here. Every step he takes feels like it could be his last, with the hound lurking in the shadows and society ready to cancel him for even thinking about books. And that's where we'll pause, right before things go nuclear. Montag's caught in this epic clash between his old life of burning books and this new, rebellious urge to save them. He's like a character in a JRPG, leveling up but still figuring out his skill tree. The stakes? Sky high. His backup? A half-terrified ex-professor with a DIY comms system. His enemy? The whole freaking system, plus a robot dog from hell. Stay tuned, because trust me, this story is about to go full-on Attack on Titan meets the Hunger Games. Montag's just getting started, but it's already clear he's not playing by the system's rules anymore. Alright, let's jump back into Fahrenheit 451, things are heating up faster than your PC during an epic boss battle. Picture this, Montag, who's been spiraling since he realized society is one big fake reality show, is now teetering on the edge of chaos. And Mildred, his so-called better half? Yeah, she's about to go full Judas on him. So here's how it goes down. Mildred, who's about as loyal as a villainous sidekick in Attack on Titan, decides she's had enough of Montag's rebellious vibes. She's like, books? EW. Feelings? Gross. Thinking for yourself? Pass. This girl is 100% team conformity, and when push comes to shove, she rats him out. Yup, she calls the fireman on her own husband. Talk about a betrayal arc straight out of a Riverdale plotline. The worst part? She doesn't even do it dramatically, no teary-eyed goodbye or heartfelt monologue. She just packs up her stuff and dips, leaving Montag in the emotional equivalent of a dropped Wi-Fi connection. One minute she's screaming about how the parlor walls are her real family, and the next, she's ghosting him faster than a match on Tinder. Now, Montag? He's not taking this sitting down. Mildred's betrayal flips a switch in him. Suddenly, it's like he's been hit with a power-up, no more hiding, no more playing nice. He's ready to take society head-on, and he doesn't care if he's labeled a villain in their twisted story. When Captain Beatty and the firemen roll up to his house, Montag knows the jig is up. Beatty, that smug final boss-looking dude, starts talking down to him like some all-knowing villain monologuing before the big showdown. He's all, we had such high hopes for you, Montag, but you just had to go and get curious. Montag's blood is boiling. He's like, bro, you think you're the hero of this dystopia? Nah, I'm flipping the script. Things get real when Beatty forces Montag to burn his own house. Yeah, you heard that right, his books, his memories, all of it goes up in flames while the neighbors watch like it's free entertainment. Montag's holding the flamethrower, seething, and you can practically hear the boss battle music start to build. Beatty keeps poking at him, dropping snide comments, and Montag's just like, oh, you wanna play? Next thing you know, Montag turns the flamethrower on Beatty. Boom. Beatty goes down in a blaze of irony. Montag's standing there, a man on fire, not literally, but it's close, realizing there's no going back now. And just when you think things can't get any crazier, the mechanical hound shows up. Yeah, that robodog nightmare we mentioned earlier? It's back, and it's not messing around. This thing is like a Terminator with a grudge, it lunges at Montag, jabs him with its poison needle, and tries to take him down for good. But Montag? He's in full survival mode. He manages to fry the hound with his flamethrower, but not before it nicks him with a paralyzing dose of venom. Dude's arm is basically out of commission, and he's stumbling around like he just got hit with a stun grenade in Fortnite. Still, he pulls a total protagonist move and escapes into the night. At this point, Montag's not just running from the authorities, he's running from everything, his old life, his failures, the whole toxic system. The adrenaline is pumping, and he's on the move, dodging searchlights and sirens like he's in the middle of a stealth mission in Metal Gear Solid. He knows he can't turn back now. Society sees him as a criminal, a traitor, someone who dared to think outside the box. But Montag? He's starting to see himself as something else, a revolutionary, maybe even a hero. As he runs, Faber's voice is still in his head, literally, thanks to that earpiece, guiding him like a mission controller. Faber's like, get out of the city, Montag. There's no saving it. You've got to find the others. And Montag, even though he's battered and barely holding it together, is determined to keep going. He's no longer just fighting for himself, he's fighting for the chance to rebuild something better. It's the ultimate underdog story, like something out of My Hero Academia, where the hero takes blow after blow but refuses to give up. By the end of part 2, Montag's burned bridges and people, let's be real, betrayed the system and embraced a dangerous, uncertain future. Mildred's betrayal might have broken him in the moment, but it also set him free. He's done pretending to fit into a world that doesn't value truth or individuality. Instead, he's choosing to fight, even if it means risking everything. And let's be honest, that kind of bold, no-holds-barred energy? That's what makes Montag the ultimate rebel in this fiery, messed-up dystopia. Alright, squad, buckle up, because part 3 of Fahrenheit 451 starts like a boss fight you've been dreading the whole game. It's Captain Beatty versus Montag, and let me tell you, the energy here is like facing Sephiroth in Final Fantasy, intense, dramatic, and destined to end in flames. Literally. So, Montag's standing there, flamethrower in hand, staring down Beatty. This guy, Beatty, is peak smug villain. He's been on to Montag for a while now, and he's been waiting for this moment like he queued it up in his calendar. Beatty doesn't just arrest you, oh no, he's gotta give a full-blown TED talk about why you're trash for breaking the rules. He's all like, books are dangerous, free thought is overrated, and you're a clown for thinking otherwise. Montag's listening, his brain doing that glitchy thing like in Cyberpunk 2077 where you're about to lose it. Now, here's the kicker, Beatty wants Montag to snap. He's poking at every insecurity, calling him a traitor, a failure, and basically gaslighting him into oblivion. But Montag? He's done being the system's punching bag. Beatty makes one snide comment too many, something about how Clarice's death was inevitable, and Montag's like, oh, you want heat? Say less. And boom, Montag torches him with the flamethrower. It's not just self-defense, it's years of suppressed rage erupting in one fiery moment. Beatty goes down, poetic justice and all, but there's no victory dance here. Montag knows he's crossed the point of no return. The mechanical hound? Yeah, it's back, and it's not taking Beatty's L lightly. This metallic demon dog launches at Montag like it's straight out of Resident Evil. It manages to inject him with a bit of paralyzing venom, so now Montag's arm is basically useless. He's limping, fumbling, but somehow, through sheer protagonist energy, he takes the thing out. Flamethrower? Check. Robot dog? Toast. Montag's standing there like a battered JRPG hero after a boss fight, barely holding it together. But he knows he's gotta move. The firemen are on their way, the whole city is hunting him, and his face is probably trending on dystopian Twitter right now. So Montag grabs what he can and starts running. This isn't your casual jog through the park, this is full-on Assassin's Creed parkour mode. He's dodging drones, helicopters, and probably the 1950s equivalent of CCTV. The government's throwing everything at him, broadcasting his manhunt like it's primetime entertainment. The crowd is eating it up, cheering for the chase like it's the Super Bowl. Montag? He's just trying not to get fried. Somewhere in the chaos, Montag has this moment of clarity. He realizes the world he's been living in is faker than a reality show. People aren't alive, they're just going through the motions, numbing themselves with mindless distractions. And he's done with it. He's not just running for his life, he's running towards something better, even if he doesn't know what that is yet. He stops by Faber's place, his last shred of hope in this burning mess. Faber's low-key terrified, dude didn't sign up for a full-on rebellion, but he still helps Montag. They brainstorm, and Faber's like, you need to ditch the city. Find the outcasts, the ones who still believe in books. Montag nods, the venom in his system still making his head swim, but he knows Faber's right. Before he leaves, Faber gives him advice, clean clothes, and some pep talk energy that's straight out of a shonen anime. Montag's ready for his next arc. Now comes the ultimate escape sequence. Montag heads to the river, leaving behind the neon chaos of the city. It's this symbolic moment, like he's literally washing off the old world to embrace whatever comes next. The city's still hunting him, but Montag's officially leveled up. He knows the system can't touch him out here in the wild. For the first time, he's out of the grid, away from the noise, the rules, the lies. And as he drifts down the river, he starts to feel something strange, hope. He's out of the fire, literally and figuratively, and the quiet feels like a glitch in the dystopian matrix. Montag doesn't know what's ahead, but he knows he's free, and that's enough to keep him moving forward. This isn't just an escape, it's the start of something new, something real. So there you have it, Montag goes from firefighter to firestarter to full-blown fugitive in the span of a few chapters. It's messy, chaotic, and absolutely epic. He's burned bridges, taken down the big bad, and thrown himself into the unknown, all in the name of truth and freedom. If this were a video game, this would be the moment you hit the save point and brace yourself for the final act. Because trust me, Montag's story isn't over yet, it's just getting started. Alright, let's wrap up Fahrenheit 451, the final showdown of Montag's journey from book burner to book believer. Picture this part like the emotional finale of an anime where everything goes from despair to hope, with a big explosion in between. So Montag's floating down the river after all that chaos, finally catching a breather. It's quiet out here, like hitting pause on the dystopian soundtrack of helicopters, sirens, and robot death dogs. For the first time, he's vibing with nature. The stars? On point. The sound of the water? Low-key ASMR. Montag's out here feeling feelings, realizing how disconnected he's been from, well, everything. He's like, why did no one tell me the outside world was so dope? But he doesn't have too long to romanticize because the story isn't done playing with his emotions. Eventually, Montag stumbles upon this group of exiles chilling in the woods. They're not just random campers, they're the resistance squad he didn't even know he needed. These people? They're smart. Like Rick and Morty fans, but actually useful. They've been out here preserving knowledge in the coolest, most lo-fi way possible, by memorizing books. No Kindles, no physical pages, just straight-up brain power. Each person has become a walking, talking audiobook, holding on to the classics for a time when society isn't so, well, trash. Granger is the squad leader, and this dude is wise. He's like the Zordon to their Power Rangers, explaining how they're keeping human knowledge alive in the face of the fireman-ruled society. Granger's also got this big-picture optimism that's rare in their world. He's all, the city's gonna eat itself alive eventually, and when it does, we'll be here to rebuild from the ashes. Montag's listening, and for the first time, he's like, yo, maybe I'm not totally doomed after all. Just when Montag starts feeling like he's found his people, boom. Literally. The city he left behind gets bombed to oblivion. The destruction is insane, think the final battle in Attack on Titan levels of devastation. 1 minute it's there, the next, it's a fiery crater. Montag's watching it happen, and it's hitting him in waves. On one hand, this is the society that tried to control him, betray him, and turn him into a cog in their machine. On the other hand, Mildred is still there, lost in her screen-filled world. Despite everything, it's a gut punch. Granger and the crew? They're not exactly shocked. It's like they've been waiting for this moment, knowing the system was destined to collapse under its own weight. Granger even drops this phoenix metaphor, which, let's be honest, is some straight-up Harry Potter vibes. He's like, humanity is dumb. We burn everything down, then rebuild and do it again. But maybe this time, we can learn from our mistakes. It's heavy stuff, but it's also kind of inspiring. Montag's sitting there, thinking, yeah, let's not be the Phoenix anymore. Let's be something better. And this is where hope starts creeping in. Granger explains that they're not just preserving books for fun, they're holding on to the wisdom humanity will need when it's time to rebuild. Montag realizes he's not just running anymore, he's part of something bigger. It's like he's joined the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars, but instead of fighting with lightsabers, they're battling ignorance with words and ideas. The ending is bittersweet but hopeful. The city's gone, but Montag and his new squad are already planning the future. They're walking toward what's left, ready to be the seeds of a better world. Montag's character arc is complete, he's gone from burning books to saving them, from blindly following orders to questioning everything. He's still got scars, both literal and emotional, but now he's carrying something else, purpose. And that's the vibe we're left with. Montag's story isn't just about rebellion, it's about finding hope in the ashes and choosing to build something better. It's like a new game plus mode in a video game, humanity gets another shot, and this time, maybe we won't screw it up. Or at least, Montag and his crew are going to do everything they can to make sure we don't.